with a sort of a minimal pulling of energy or resources from the body. So those are some of the things.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Reg is correct. This book tries to depict from a few different point of views on how people have tried to improve their performance, and all people are still using all of the above. Everything that Reggie just mentioned, everything that's mentioned in this book is still being used, from drugs to just having a high on, you know, on running, on skiing, on whatever it is. So how can we apply this to building a business? How can we apply it to increasing our flow of income? Well, that's the magic word. So The Rise of Superman by Steven Kotler, the main word that is used is flow, F-L-O-W. That's the main word that is used. It's an optimal state of consciousness, a peak state where we both feel our best and perform our best. So how do we reach this type of state? What do we need to do? What do we need to accomplish? What we need to do to reach this state is not achieved by many people. It's not possible by many people. Why? Because many people give up for basic reasons. They give up. This state, flow, is a transformation available to anyone, anywhere, provided that certain conditions are met. What are these conditions? What are these conditions? So that's what we're going to go over right now. See if I can get on here. All right. Everyone from assembly line workers in Detroit to jazz musicians in Algeria to software designers in Mumbai rely on flow to drive performance and accelerate innovation. It is the feeling of being totally immersed in what you are doing. In what you are doing, being immersed. How do you immerse yourself more than what you are already immersing yourself in what you're doing, right? In flow, every action, each decision leads effortlessly, fluidly, seamlessly to the next. So it's high-speed problem solving. It's being swept away by the river of ultimate performance, according to Harvard Medical School psychiatrist Ned Hollowell. Everything you do better in flow, from baking a chocolate cake to planning a vacation to solving a differential equation to writing a business plan to playing tennis to making love. Flow is the doorway to the more most of us seek. Rather than telling ourselves to get used to it, that's all there is. Instead, learn how to enter into flow. There you will find in manageable doses all the more you need. So why is it that most of us don't find this flow state? So I want to give you a simple example. Number one, most of us want to have our own business or our own source of income. Well, how much time have you dedicated to that? For me, I know I could dedicate more time to it. All right? For me, I know I could be more serious about it. For me, I have cut down from doing 20 things a day to doing 3 to 5 things a day. Could I concentrate on this more? Yes, I can. Meaning, I have to cut down much, much more in order to accomplish much more on that one specific task or goal that I want to accomplish. Now, the first time that you do this and that you succeed in accomplishing this, all your tasks from then on will be a little bit easier. It's not that it's going to be easier just in any sense of saying, okay, now that I accomplished this, everything is going to just be at the click of a switch or clicking your heels. It's going to be easier in that you already know what you need to do to accomplish your one thing, your business goals, your source of income, and so on. But it requires certain work. It requires certain meditation skills. It requires getting through a certain state of fear, which is what flow directly intends to depict here. How is that fear evolved? Well, in one part of this book, Steven Kotler goes into that you have the alpha, the theta, and the beta state. So the alpha state in general is our angel talking to us. But then on the beta state, you have the devil talking to us. Meaning, the devil will tell us, I don't know if you can do this. I don't know if this is right for you. Maybe you should hold off on doing this. And I know that we all have heard this at one point or another. But then, on the other side of our shoulder, so let's say that the devil's on the left side of the shoulder, and the angel's on the right side of the shoulder, right? So the right side tells you, let's go, let's do this. And you have a hard time deciding. That's the issue with flow. Most of us don't decide. Or if we do make the decision, we try and stay on the safe side. Most athletes take risks. They take risks. A lot of these athletes that we just listened to in this first part of this book, some of them have snapped, part of their bones and have continued to do the performance that they were in. Some of them have had injuries that they shouldn't even be performing anymore. And they continue to do these wild and risky sports that are out there. Danny, I don't remember what his last name was, is one of those main guys. I don't follow many of these sports, so I never heard of these before. And I posted some of these quotes. I think I posted 2 quotes of some of these people in Facebook. One of them is, the way to measure the height of a wave is not in inches, it's by the increments of fear. So the higher the wave, the more fear is involved, right? So just imagine in reference to your own work, in reference to what you're doing right now, why have you not accomplished your business goal or program or secondary monetary source of income? It's not because of the size of the wave in comparison, it's because of the size of fear. So even for me, I'm getting ready to do specific tasks, one specific task, and I know that when I complete the first one, the second one's going to be easier. But getting that first one is the tough one. And that's what I've got to do as of tomorrow onward, that one task, so that in a month's time, you all will be proud of this person here who will also guide you psychologically to doing the same thing, to doing something similar. Meaning you don't have to do what I have to do, but you have to do whatever it is you have to do in your business with some type of coaching, some type of experience that someone has had in your circle of friends. So that's where this book comes in, is when will you rise up and be that super person in your life, superwoman, superman, super person in your life. It's there. It is waiting for us to just rise up and take the challenge. So if you haven't heard this in the last year that we've been going through books, then it's because you were in the process of growing into this. There are 2 specific words that are used in the book that we read before, High Performance Habits. One of them is passion, and the other one is obsession. What is the difference between these words? This is where I'd like to give you the 2-millimeter difference between being where you are now and being where you want to be. It's these 2 words, passion. What does passion mean with what you're doing right now, right? Passion can be controllable, but usually is not controllable. Meaning You know what your passion is. You know what it can do for you. Probably. You know where it can take you. You know that it exists. Maybe you're fearful about it. Maybe you are excited about waking up to fulfilling your passion. Maybe you're not. The reality is that passion is what every life coach out there tries to sell you. Every life coach tries to tell you, what is your passion? How are you building it? But there is one word that is more powerful, and it's just that much of a difference from the words. Obsession. Are you obsessed about your business? Are you obsessed about making more money? Are you obsessed to the point that you can't sleep, that all you think about and dream about is making more money, is building your business, is getting out of debt, is producing savings, and so on? So obsession, are you obsessed about what you're doing? Usually if you have a passion in something, that's not where you want to be. Why? Because you know what your obsession is. You know what to do about it. But an obsession, you don't necessarily know what to do about it. You don't necessarily know how to get from point A to point B. Maybe you're attempting to get from point A to point B, but you're so obsessed you haven't found that yet. So flow is the third word that you mix in here. Flow means once you get over that fear of your obsession, then everything will click in. Your alpha state will all of a sudden come into play and tell you exactly what you need to do as you get there, right? Is your business plan in play? If it's not in play, then your alpha state hasn't kicked in into reproducing it. I have a business plan. I have a nonprofit business plan as well. Are they perfect? They're getting better and better. I've reviewed them. I reviewed them in July. I reviewed them beginning of August, and I've reviewed them now. So how often are you reviewing your business plan if you have one? If you don't have a business plan, what are you waiting for? So this is what the rise of Superman calls us to do, is one, notice you have a passion, all right? You know what your passion is. Is it firing you up? Are you excited in the morning to wake up and get involved in it? Are you going to bed dreaming of your passion? If not, then maybe that's not right for you. But if you're obsessed on a goal, obsessed on making more money, obsessed on building a business, obsessed on creating 100 contacts, 1,000 contacts, if you're obsessed, then you're doing everything that you can to get you there. And if you are obsessed, then you're emitting this state of flow where your mind is connecting with this sixth sense to get you closer to where you really want to be. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? Any questions on what I'm saying or anything? Ty, Reg, Charles, Angela?
Nope, got it.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Reg.
Well, I had something just to add. I didn't really get into the book as deep as Reg did, but we did talk briefly about some of the things, and just going back to that that level of, I guess, most of the high performance people are detail people.
Yes.
And like you said, you stopped doing 20 things to do 5. So that's to be able to pay attention to the detail. In that flow that you're talking about, that kind of like Buddha consciousness, where it's sort of like you're driven to do better because you upset. Can you hear me?
Yep, hear you now.
Yeah, so it's because you're obsessed to do things. Hello? Can you hear me? I'm still there.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay.
You got you're muted, Reg. Charles.
I can hear you well.
Reg has me. Okay. Are you muted, David?
Yep, you're muted somehow.
Who's muted? Charles? I can hear Charles.
Yeah, I can hear you too,
Okay,
Reg.
I hear you now. Whoops, it was me. I pressed the silent button. All right. So go ahead, Charles. It was me. Sorry.
Okay. I was just saying that a lot of these high performance individuals, they're individuals who are very well detailed.
That's right. High performance individuals are very well detailed. That's correct, Charles.
And the thing of it is they're like researchers in whatever endeavor that they do. They get to one level, and that level of success drives them to the next, which drives them to the next. Like we talked about
all these high performance sports people get to a specific level, and that level drives them to the next. That's what Charles is saying. Thank you, Charles. Yeah. Good.
And I was also saying, you can even relate that in a negative, being an old drug counselor, that I've seen guys that were so adamant to get high that they would do pretty much anything to get to the next point of being high, even though they didn't have a penny in their pocket. These guys would create, sometimes hundreds or even thousands of dollars in a short period of time because of their drive. They're driven. And it's not just getting high for them, it's the process. So they're really turned on by the complete process. And as we mentioned, David Banner in 1955, how nobody before then was able to do the mile under 5 minutes.
Yes, that's correct.
Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister.
Roger
Bannister.
They always say David, if I remember.
I was like the Incredible Hulk all of a sudden.
Yeah, because that was a Hulk of a thing that he did.
Yes.
Because, they had tried all kinds of things, tying themselves to horses to beat the record, but once he did it, several came right behind him because they saw the possibilities. And that's that flow. The flow is the possibility.
That's right. That's correct, Charles. That a lot of people did insane things earlier on as they started. Even as Charles said, attaching themselves to a horse to try and get that speed, and that's insane stuff. But that's what has happened in the past. But in reality, when you take these risks and you do these fearful things, that's one of the ways to progress. A lot of people have lost their lives. I'm not going to kid you. So, some have lost their lives, some have perished, some have seriously hurt themselves. But yeah, go ahead, Charles.
I also want to say, I think of the people who climbed Everest, all the people who have died trying to climb. But it was an obsession, like you said, to be able to get to the top and say that you did it and you survived, even though it almost killed you. So to me, that flow is sort of like a rhythm of life that you guide yourself by.
Correct, Charles. As Charles is saying, that a lot of people who have committed to climbing Mount Everest have lost their lives, and they've committed to a specific obsession in reaching that goal and have not given up, and even have given their own life to try and achieve it and weren't successful. So that has happened. That is correct. That is where this book is taking us, is that sometimes we're going to face death to a certain extent, meaning not meaning you're going to die, not meaning that you're going to have to almost die, meaning your old self, your old ways will have to part from your new ways. All right? Maybe you have a business plan, but have you concentrated the amount of time needed to building it? I know that I have given some time, but I also know that I can dedicate much more time into building a better business plan now that I know what needs to be done. Meaning, what do I mean by this? Just like you have taken out time to meditate. I know Angela has meditated. I don't know if Reggie and Charles have, but just like you take out time to meditate, that's the same process that has to happen with a business plan. You need to take out time to think about each step of your business plan, of your goals, and why do you want to accomplish them? What gets you fired up on these goals, what can you do so that that fire that you feel is acquired, is achieved? So this is it for review part 1 of The Rise of Superman. If you have any questions, yeah, I'd like to address them, or if you want to add anything. I know that I'm connected through Facebook Live independently because I had some sort of problem trying to connect simulcast, but I'll figure that out for the next time. So next time we'll figure it out and we'll be ready to go so that everyone can be heard at the same time. But I will also post this review on Facebook aside from this live review on Facebook, because Charles, Reggie, and Angela all gave powerful insights that I'm certain you would love to hear on your own as well. Right, Ty?
Mhm.
So, Angela, Reg,
Yes.
anything you want to add in reference to this
Yeah.
book? Go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that, I didn't get the opportunity to really go through the book. But, I just, as I'm listening to, one of the things that came back to me was something that was said in one of the, I think it was Florence Scovel Shin's book. But they
Florence,
were
yes.
they were talking about, it reminds me of when they were talking about people at the circus who do like incredible, feats,
Yes.
death-defying feats and things, but that's because they have seen themselves doing it. It becomes their obsession, their
Obsession.
passion,
Yes.
they see themselves being successful. That guy that walked on that tightrope across whatever mountain that was, I think it was last year, he walked across like between 2 mountains or something like that. I mean, that was an obsession for him. He comes from a circus background, and he walked across two mountains. I don't know what the mountains were. I don't remember, but that because he was
That's right.
obsessed, he was able to do it. And so you can achieve anything in life if you put your mind to it. And the other thing that you guys were talking about that's really, really that I've been trying to work on is time management. Because when you have a lot of things that you're trying to accomplish, you can do a lot of things, but you can't do a lot of things well. And
Correct.
so you have to try to hone in what's really important during your day, and then focus on just those few things. And then you'll be amazed at how many things you actually get accomplished by just focusing on a couple of things at a time.
So, Angela, thank you for sharing. Angela just mentioned how in one of the books that we read, Fearlessness by Florence Scovel Shin, mentions how a lot of people who are in the circus have gone through, who do these unbelievable acts, go through this fear and visualize themselves doing these acts before even performing them. And that's part of what it takes, and as Angela mentioned, and in the book is mentioned, some person did some wiring act between 2 mountains and walked straight across without any gear, emergency gear or something like that, or 2 buildings, I believe is what it was. This is what it takes. Do we have to do those? No, we don't have to do that. We don't have to walk through 2 buildings. We don't have to do these circus acts that are insane, but we do have to be insanely obsessed about doing whatever it is that we want to accomplish, right? The last time that you've looked at your business plan, or you worked on your business, were you seriously passionate about it? Or were you obsessed to the point where you can't put it down? You have to work on this right now. So that's the reality with most of us. So thank you, Angela, for sharing that. Anyone else want to share anything? Ty, any comments on there? Any questions? Go ahead. Anyone?
What I'll say is, what's a good thing is, even as these individuals, and we could be among those individuals ourselves, if we consider ourselves, or we may very well be high performance individuals, and Superman and Superwoman, whatever. But what I like is that people who perform at these levels, as much as you're creating or doing things that was considered impossible, unachievable, whatever, and you're actually testing the boundaries and exploring and making it such that these things become the possible, is that you also make it possible for other people. So super people, or supermen, super women, create little supermen, super women.
That's correct.
You know, so that's the beauty of it, because
That
you,
is correct.
you become a model for other people to follow. And so your example is going to be such that everybody else can see what's actually, you know, something that they themselves might be capable of, whereas they might not have thought before. And so that actually creates and builds more individuals doing more things and achieving more successes. And that's what's really nice about it.
So what Reggie just mentioned, thank you, Reggie, is very important, but I want to add a very small piece to this. Everything that's mentioned in this review today is what leads a coach to another level, a life coach, a mentor. Everything we've just mentioned is what leads a coach to another level, is getting people out of their passion into believing that they have an obsession with something. And, you know, getting that obsession realized, it takes baby steps, but are you asking, are you talking to, are you seeking the right people in your life, the right books in your life, the right amount of time that you can put into whatever it is that you want to accomplish? So the reality, as Reggie just said, is we have to take these baby steps that lead us to being a baby super person and then becoming that bigger super person, superwoman or superman in our lives. But if you don't have the right mentorship, the right guidance, the right books, how are you going to get there? So the next time you hear someone who claims to be a coach and says, well, what is your passion? And then you'll be like, oh my God, if that's all this person's talking about, then they don't really know what they're talking about. Because everyone knows that we all have a passion, and a life coach should be beyond that. All right? And not picking on anyone specifically, not saying that someone has mentioned this. I'm just saying it in general. You know, in general, if you hear someone talking, trying to guide you and give you information, and if all they're talking about is, you know, passion, this, passion, that, passion is great. It's very good, but there's a word that's just 2 millimeters above that. 2 millimeters, not much. All right, obsession. Are you obsessed? Martha, thank you for joining us. Are you obsessed about getting your goals? If you are, then that's a topic that we need to discuss. What are your goals by the end of the year? And that's a topic that I'd like to move everyone to maybe Thursday night and give a few questions to write down this Thursday in reference to these goals, in reference to obsession. If that's okay with anyone who's interested, I'm going to be posting it up, because this book has opened up 4 possibilities that we're going to discuss next week. But before we go into those 4 possibilities, I'd like to just have my own checkup in reference to you all. All right? So this is it for our review, part 1 of Rise of Superman, a very powerful book. Yes, if you just take in all the examples and all the little stories that Steven Kotler describes, then you might get lost. However, the big picture in this, as Reggie described, and Angela and Charles, and we all tried to depict here, is that, okay, there are many people who are successful in the sports world in doing these crazy stunts, but you can apply specific steps to having a better version of yourself in the obsessive state. And we'll talk about that more Thursday. If anyone wants to come on, we'll have a 10 to 20 minute session in reference to obsession, and what are the goals that, what are the questions that we need to ask ourselves in order to meet our business plan or our monetary goals and so on. All right, everyone, have a great evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all for coming and making this Mastermind Book Club successful. You are what make it successful. It's not me, it's you. So thank you, each of you, Charles, Angela, Reg, Martha, Ty, thank you all. Have a great evening and have a awesome Labor Day week. All right, take care.
You too, David.
Yes, Charles, We'll talk in a few minutes, all right?
Sounds good.
Take care,
All right,
everyone.
guys.
Bye.
God bless.
Thank you, Reg.
Have a blessed night.
Amen. You too.